Hey there, you ever stop and think about how something as simple as sharing a story has literally shaped our entire world? Well, we're about to take a wild ride through history to see exactly how we got from, well, there to here.
Yeah, that's really the big question, isn't it? How in the world did we go from telling stories around a fire to sending a message that can zip around the entire planet in a split second? In this explainer, we're going to connect those dots, all the way from the ancient world to our, super connected, maybe too connected, present day.
So, let's rewind. Way back. Our journey kicks off in a time before any machines, when knowledge was, well, incredibly personal. It was passed straight from one person's brain to another's, a process that was intimate for sure, but also unbelievably fragile. I mean, just try to picture it for a second. The entire history of a culture, all its wisdom, its very identity, it wasn't on a server somewhere. It was literally inside people's heads. Elders would pass down these incredible tales, giving the next generation everything they needed to know.
Okay, so you can see here, this was a huge, huge shift. On one side, you've got the spoken word. It was communal, sure, but also super fleeting. If someone forgot a story, poof, it could be gone forever. But then, writing came along, and that changed the whole game. All of a sudden, ideas could be made solid, permanent. But, and this is a big but, getting your hands on them was still really, really hard.
And that brings us to a real game changer. The next big leap forward wasn't just some new gadget. It was an invention that would completely shake up society by changing who got to be in the know.
So, just to put this all into perspective, check out this timeline. You've got this massive stretch of just oral tradition, right? Then writing comes along, moving pretty slowly, and then bam, the 15th century hits, and the printing press just changes everything, accelerating it all.
Seriously, let that sink in. Before this thing came along, every single book, every one, had to be copied out by hand. It was a crazy slow process that made books these ultra-rare luxury items. Knowledge wasn't just power, it was basically a private possession of the super wealthy.
And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? The printing press democratized knowledge. It basically took information that was locked away in castles and monasteries and handed it to the people. It was a massive shift in power.
But here's the thing, the real magic is what happened next. Suddenly, regular people could get their hands on books and read things for themselves. This led to brand new ideas about everything: religion, science, how we should be governed. This is what fueled the Enlightenment, kicked off the scientific revolution, and got people to start questioning, well, pretty much everything.
All right, let's jump forward a bit. We hit the 20th century and the speed just picks up like crazy. Now, technology isn't just about spreading information. It starts to literally make time and distance feel like they're collapsing, making our planet feel a whole lot smaller.
This quote from our source material is just perfect. These inventions shrunk the Atlantic Ocean in real time. What a great way to put it, right? The telephone and TV didn't just carry sounds and pictures, they shot them across oceans in an instant. The Atlantic, a barrier that took weeks to cross, was suddenly no barrier at all.
And you can imagine what that did to how we saw the world. Suddenly, big global events weren't just distant stories in a newspaper you'd read weeks later. Nope, they were happening right now in your living room.
And then the internet showed up. This was the big one. It wasn't just one person broadcasting to many. It was everyone connected to everyone. It created what our source calls a global nervous system, this wild, interconnected web where a pulse in one corner of the world is felt everywhere, instantly.
And just like that, the old gatekeepers, poof, gone. Think about it. A teenager in their bedroom in Tokyo can put a song online, and literally overnight, they can be a star in the Philippines or halfway across the world in the Netherlands. It's incredible.
But, and you knew there was a but coming, right? All this connection, it's a double-edged sword. Now we have to talk about the flip side, the challenges that pop up when basically everyone has a printing press in their pocket. And I think we've all felt this, that feeling of being completely swamped by information overload. You know, the endless emails, the notifications, the fire hose of headlines. It's so much that it's hard to actually think about any of it.
And that feeling of being overwhelmed leads to an even bigger, scarier question. With all this noise coming from all directions, how on earth are we supposed to figure out what's true and what's just made up? It's become one of the most important skills you can have today.
Okay, to really get how high the stakes are here, the source material gives us this really powerful analogy. Just picture society as a human body. In this body, information is the blood, flowing everywhere, carrying the stuff we need,
facts, ideas, news, to keep the whole thing alive and healthy.
Right, so here's the punchline. What happens to that body if its lifeblood gets polluted? What if it's filled with junk, with misinformation? Well, the whole system starts to get sick. Trust disappears, and our ability to work together on big problems starts to fall apart.
So where do we go from here? The answer, it turns out, isn't just about better tech. It's about us. It's about the responsibility we have as the people using these powerful tools.
I mean, look at the progression of our tools. We started with something as simple as a pen. Then came the game-changing printing press. And now we have the computer. The technology has evolved like crazy. But have we? And that's the key, isn't it? Because underneath all the tech, the gadgets, the code, the basic human need is exactly the same as it was around that campfire. We just want to connect with each other, and we want to understand our world.
So that leaves us with a job to do, right? It's not enough to just build these incredible things. We have a real responsibility to steer them, to make sure they're being used for good, to help people rise up, to make the world a bit more fair, and to close the gaps between people instead of making them wider.
So in the end, the future isn't about the next iPhone or the next app. It's going to be defined by us, by the wisdom and the empathy we bring to these amazing tools we've already built. So the real question isn't what the tech can do anymore. It's what are we going to build with it?